Hi, I'm James, and this is a line. And in just a few minutes, I'm going to show you how this line will help you lose weight. And you'll do it without starving yourself, without spending hours in a gym, and without taking pills, powders, potions, or any of those gimmicks. You can forget all that because, well, let's face the facts. We both know that stuff doesn't work. If it did, you wouldn't be watching this. And if you've been on as many diets as I have, you're probably nodding your head right about now. Look, what you're about to learn is like nothing you've heard or seen before. And if you watch this short video from beginning to end, I'm going to reveal to you the most overlooked secret when it comes to weight loss. The same secret I accidentally discovered that helped me shed over 36 pounds of ugly fat and kept off till this very day. In fact, if you follow my step-by-step instructions to the letter, you have no choice but to lose every last ounce of your unwanted weight. Now, wouldn't that be a secret you'd love to know? Of course it is, and we'll get to it shortly. But first, you're probably wondering, who am I and why am I preaching to you? Well, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, my name is James, and I'm not a doctor, nutritionist, or some kind of health practitioner, and I don't have any fancy letters after my name. In fact, I'm just your average guy who, until recently, had a bit of a weight problem. Heck, let's be honest, I was downright obese and desperate for a solution. And that's why I'd like to share my story with you, because, well, it's probably similar to your own. And it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, young or old. If you've ever struggled with your weight or felt self-conscious about your body, you're sure to relate. And not only will I share my amazing story, I'll actually give you the solution I stumbled on that helped me shrink my stomach, take several inches off my waist, and basically got me in the best shape I've ever been, and how you can easily do it too. But let's back up a bit. You see, I didn't always have size issues. Truth be told, I was actually skinny growing up. But by my early 20s, things started to change. The days of eating whatever I wanted without second thought were long gone. The weight slowly started creeping on, and fast forward 15 years later, and I was carrying an extra 40 pounds of fat. Now, don't get me wrong, I didn't just let this happen. In fact, I fought it every step of the way. I'd go on whatever fad diet was in fashion at least twice a year, and on occasion hit the gym pretty hard. And sure, I'd lose a little weight, 5 pounds here, 5 pounds there, but after a few weeks I'd get tired of my routine and fall off the wagon. I'd get so down on myself for not sticking with it, but I'd always make up some excuse for not following through, then plan to start again the next week. Of course, that next week came and went and I didn't do a thing, or the week after that. As you can imagine, I'd gain back every ounce I lost and then some. And even though I'd be frustrated, oddly enough, deep down inside I still felt somewhat in control. If push came to shove, I was confident I could drop the pounds. That is, until my last dieting attempt. To this day I remember it vividly. It was early May and spring was in full bloom. The weather was gorgeous, blue sunny skies, the smell of flowers and freshly cut grass in the air, and the constant buzzing of lawnmowers as people tended to their yards. Summer could not get here soon enough, but that meant swapping sweatshirts for t-shirts. And as you probably know, t-shirts don't do such a good job of hiding an overgrown belly. Unless, of course, you opt for one so big it makes you look like you're wearing an oversized potato sack. In fact, I hated the way clothes hung over my stomach, never really resting in my pants because my big gut would get in the way. What's worse was when I try and hide it. I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, but every time a pretty woman would buck by me in the street, I'd suck in my belly and hold my breath. Of course, the only thing that accomplished was to make me even more self-conscious. Sitting was another story altogether. My shirt would hug my waist and split my stomach into 2 rolls. I always felt that people were staring at me, especially when I'd be eating in a restaurant. Sure, I might not have been the biggest person in the room, but I definitely felt like it. And I won't even go into bending over to tie my shoes or avoiding the mirror before stepping in the shower. Let's just say those were tough moments for my self-esteem. I'm sure you get the picture. So, like all the other years around this time, I decided to get in shape. But with summer fast approaching, I wasn't about to take a chance on some fad diet. Instead, I would stick to a tried and true method, calorie counting and portion control. My plan was to eat 500 fewer calories daily and hit the gym 6 times a week. That way, I'd lose about 2 pounds every 7 days. The first week went by, and nothing. I still weighed the same. I was a bit disappointed, but didn't think much of it. I figured my body just needed some more time to adjust to the new routine. But next week came and still, not an ounce lost. By the 3rd week, I was actually scared to step on the scale, and for a good reason. After 21 days of weighing food, eating 6 small meals a day, keeping a journal, and, not to mention, sweating like a pig on the treadmill, all I had to show for it was 1 measly pound. Can you believe it? But it gets worse, because I spent the next 9 weeks losing and regaining the same 4 pounds. It's as if my metabolism had grinded to a halt. And after 3 agonizing months of spinning my wheels, I simply gave up. Remember that confidence I mentioned earlier? Instantly vanished into thin air. I never felt more hopeless about my weight and my health than at that exact moment. I was so devastated I spent an entire weekend stuffing my face. I ate everything I had shunned on my diet. Pizza, ice cream, chocolate cake, potato chips, Oreos, bacon cheeseburgers, you name it. And after feasting to the point of disgust, I decided to stop feeling sorry for myself and take serious action, because I knew that this was the point of no return. I could no longer ignore the cold, hard truth staring me right in the face. I wasn't in control of my weight, and I hadn't been since my early 20s. There was no more room for excuses. I couldn't put this off for another day when the time would be just right, the way I had done for years and years. In fact, if I didn't do something about it at once, I was destined to get fatter and fatter until it eventually killed me. Oh, here's where I should mention that diabetes and heart disease run in my family, so you can imagine just how bleak my future looked if I didn't change my ways and fast. So, I started looking for solutions. I went on to read at least 15 different diet books. I scoured the web endlessly, looking for something, anything that would point me in the right direction. And I also talked to anyone who'd listen. But the advice was basically the same: eat less and exercise more. The exact things that clearly weren't working for me. Now, I might not be the smartest bird in the flock, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that maybe, just maybe, that wasn't the best approach. At least not for someone whose metabolism was obviously shot from years and years of yo-yo dieting. I was literally at the end of my rope. Honestly, I have no idea what kept me going, but I'm glad I did, because shortly after, I stumbled onto a secret that was so embarrassingly simple, I figured it couldn't possibly work. But imagine my surprise when it did. In fact, it worked so well that I went on to lose 6 pounds in the very first week. That's more than I had lost in the past 3 months combined, on a strict diet no less. And you know what? I was terrified. Why? Because my last attempt left me so traumatized I was convinced this was a fluke. But lo and behold, the second week went by and I was down another 3 pounds. And this kept going and going that by the 10th week I had lost a total of 36 pounds in all the right places. I had to buy a whole new set of clothes, but I still kept a few of my old ones just to remind me of how far I had let myself go and where I never wanted to end up again. For instance, before this total body transformation, my pants were splitting at the seams. Now, after dropping 6 full sizes, I was literally swimming in them. And without anything to push them out, my new shirts fell flat against my body. As for my old ones, well, let's just say they made me look like a little boy who decided to dress up like his dad. And while I'm not the type to tout my own horn, for the first time in years, I really looked good. But that paled in comparison to how I felt. Words can't really describe the amazing feeling of putting on jeans I hadn't worn in years, but still kept tucked away in the back of my closet in hopes that one day they'd fit again. Or how ecstatic I was when I met a friend I hadn't seen in months, and the first thing he said to me was, "Hey, where's the other half of you?" And I no longer had to suck in anything when women walked by me in the street. In fact, I was nothing but smiles, and many of them would smile back. What a difference from a few weeks ago. I could go on, but in short, I felt like I was given a whole new lease on life. Happy, healthy, confident, not to mention, full of energy and no longer self-conscious of how I looked or what people thought of me. Now, by this point, you're probably asking yourself, how exactly did I do it? Well, it wasn't as hard as you'd imagine. In fact, everything can be boiled down to one simple secret that when followed, leaves you no choice but to shed off every bit of unwanted weight. And I'll share this with you in a moment, but first, let me tell you what I didn't do, and the answer will surprise you. For one, I didn't starve myself, and you shouldn't either. In fact, I don't care how bad you want to lose weight, if you try and fight hunger, you'll always lose. Come to think of it, that's the problem with most diets out there. They force you to get by on scraps so you never really feel full, and eventually you crack and end up binging, gaining back every pound you lost and then some. Next, I didn't give up any of my favorite treats. Now don't get me wrong, I wasn't stuffing my face with cookies and chocolate cake, but I didn't completely avoid them either. It's not realistic to forgo these guilty pleasures, nor would I want to, and I'm sure you agree. I also didn't go on some fad diet. Sure, fads will make you shed the pounds, sometimes very, very fast. The problem is, most of that weight will be water, which you'll gain back the moment you stop dieting. As for exercise, aside from a little walking, I stopped working out entirely. I lost all that weight without a minute of boring cardio. Now here's a tip you ought to know. The right kind of exercise helps you burn fat, while the wrong kind can cause you to gain it. And cardio just so happens to be that wrong kind. Here's why. Even though it burns some calories, it also makes you hungry. So hungry, in fact, that you end up eating more than you burned off. And over the long run, this can cause you to pack on more pounds than if you didn't work out at all. But please, don't misunderstand me. I'm not downplaying the benefits of exercise. In fact, it has a very important role as far as weight loss is concerned, and we'll get to that later. But for now, just keep in mind that cardio isn't the best way to get in shape. Finally, I didn't use any of those dangerous diet pills. I don't recommend you ever try those things. Sure, some do help a little, but did you know that none of them are regulated by the FDA? Which means you never really know what you're putting in your body. Why risk your health just to lose a few pounds? Especially when you can drop much more weight, almost as easy as taking a pill and without causing any damage. Sounds crazy, I know, but every word of it is true. In fact, let me share a little secret with you. Your body does not want to be fat. And if you're overweight, it's really not your fault. Don't blame yourself for another minute. Trust me, it's not because you eat too much, lack willpower, or don't exercise enough. Sure, those things do matter, but not nearly as much as you've been led to believe. No. The real reason you don't already have the body you want is because you're eating the wrong foods. Foods that constantly keep you hungry, slow down your metabolism, rob you of your energy, and force you to store fat. And here's the sad part. These are the same foods most experts have been recommending for decades, even though the facts tell a different story. Let me give you an example. We've been on a low-fat kick for over 30 years, ever since the USDA gave us our food pyramid in the late 70s, and yet there's more fat folks around than ever before. Now, on the surface, this may seem a bit strange, but when you dig a little deeper, it makes perfect sense. You see, foods that have been stripped of their natural fat are loaded with sugar and artificial sweeteners. In fact, if they weren't, they taste like cardboard and nobody would buy them. But besides giving food its taste, these additives mess with your body's metabolism. Specifically, they cause you to hoard fat. It's the complete opposite effect you'd expect by swapping the full-fat version of a food for the low-fat one. And yet, that's exactly what happens. Here's another example of a health food that really isn't healthy at all. Are you ready for this? It's a bit of a shocker. Orange juice. How can this be? Well, an orange is one of the most nutritious things you can eat. But when you drink a glass of juice, it's like injecting 3 full oranges into your bloodstream in one shot. This spikes your blood sugar through the roof. The end result? That pile of sugar ends up flooding your liver. But since your liver can only hold a small amount, the rest gets converted to fat. Fat that ends up in your belly, thighs, butt, or any other place you happen to store it. Are you starting to get the picture? And keep in mind, those are just 2 examples. Just think about all the other foods you've been told are good for you, but are making you fatter and sicker with each passing year. Now, let's switch gears for a moment. Remember that line I showed you at the beginning of this video? And remember how I told you that it would help you to lose weight? Well, let me ask you a question. Out of all the lions you've seen in your life, either up close at a zoo or on TV shows like National Geographic, how many of them were fat? We both know the answer to that is 0. And do you know why? It's because a lion eats its natural diet. It doesn't eat health foods, and it doesn't worry about calories, portion controls, or even exercise. It doesn't have to. Because by eating the right foods, it automatically stays slim and healthy. Not only that, it also has endless energy. Which brings us full circle to that secret I mentioned earlier. When you feed your body the right fat-burning foods you'll be learning about shortly, foods that are not only healthier, but also tastier than what you're eating now, you won't believe your eyes every time you step on the bathroom scale, or the changes taking place in the mirror. And while everyone's body is different, just imagine losing 3 to 7 pounds the very first week you start using this secret, and then continuing to lose at least 2 to 4 pounds every week after that, until you have the body you've always wanted. What kind of a difference would that make in your life? No doubt you'd look and feel fabulous. Perhaps you too have some outfits tucked away. Outfits you never believed you'd wear again. Now, how excited would you be to try them on, and for the first time in years have them fit like a glove? Or how your self-confidence would soar when friends and family showered you with compliments. Something that surely will spill over into your love life, which not to mention, would be thrilling thanks to the surge of energy going hand in hand with your new sexy body. Now, I can tell you from experience, those are just a few of the perks you'll enjoy firsthand when you put this plan into action. But the truth is, they're all dwarfed by the amazing feeling of knowing you're in total control of your weight and your health. No longer a slave to food, the constant cravings, or the endless guilt that comes from cheating on some diet. No more worrying about where on your body that bag of chips will end up, or tipping the scales on a Monday morning after a weekend binge. And you can finally break the cycle of losing and regaining the same 5 or 10 pounds, and even stop that sneaky weight gain you'd otherwise face as you get older. Just imagine continuing to look your best year after year, no matter how many candles are lighting up your birthday cake. And you want to know the best part? You don't need to count calories, calculate portions, follow complicated point systems, or anything else that keeps you chained to the kitchen sink or takes over your life. In fact, that's exactly why the method you're about to discover is so powerful. The secret lies in its simplicity. Once you set it into motion, it works on virtual autopilot until you've shed every last ounce of your stubborn body fat. It really is unlike anything else out there. Let me explain. Unless your metabolism is completely shot, the way mine was before I discovered what I'm about to share with you, most weight loss plans will work. Some better than others, but all of them will help you drop a few pounds. The problem is, they burden you with too many rules. Now, couple that with the fact that most leave you hungry, and this creates the perfect storm. You're always thinking about food, especially what you can't have. It's only a matter of time before you get frustrated and give up altogether. So here's the bottom line. It doesn't matter how much weight you lose or how fast with any particular method. If you can't stick with it for life, you will never have the body you really want. It took me years and many botched fat loss attempts to figure this out. In fact, this is the most overlooked secret when it comes to weight loss. The same secret I still use to this day to stay in the best shape of my life. Now, here's where things get real interesting. When I first started this plan, I didn't tell a soul, and for a good reason. I was too terrified I would fail like all the other times, and I couldn't bear to have to look my loved ones in the eye and break the news to them that once again I had fallen off the wagon. Sure, they were always encouraging me, but whenever I'd hit the skids with some diet, deep inside I felt like I was letting them down. The thought of that was just too much to stomach. So for once, I decided to keep my mouth shut. But after a few weeks went by, they started to notice. Naturally, they asked me what new program I was on this time, but I just brushed off the question and told them I was hitting the gym a bit harder. But by the look on their faces, it was obvious they called my bluff. Nevertheless, they wished me well without pressing on. However, by the 8th week, I had undergone such a total body transformation, they begged me to spill my secret. And since by this point it was obvious that this was no fluke, I decided to let them in on the action. Andrew was my first guinea pig, a real special case. He was already a big guy when I first met him way back in college, but over the years he continued to pack on the pounds like it was nobody's business, and with no end in sight. He had the slowest metabolism you've ever seen, and a ravenous appetite. Everything he ate went straight to his gut. But in spite of all this, with just a few tweaks to his diet, Andrew went on to lose a whopping 52 pounds in just under 3 months. His results were nothing short of amazing. Not only that, it seemed that the more weight you had to lose, the better the secret worked. Next was my friend Joanne, a very sweet girl who was skinny up until giving birth to a beautiful baby boy. She struggled to get her body back for at least a year, and then she got pregnant again. And by the time she had her second child, she was carrying an extra 35 pounds of fat. So, I sat her down and showed her what to do. And guess how long it took her to drop that extra weight? A mere 14 weeks. She went from a size 11 to a size 4 and she looks fantastic. And then there was Peter. He was only about 20 pounds overweight, but at 6'5", you could never tell just by looking at him. He had other issues, however. You see, he suffered from crippling mid-afternoon crashes to the point where he was useless after having lunch. As you can imagine, this was killing his productivity and creating problems at work. But once he got on the program, his energy went through the roof. Not to mention, he dropped 9 pounds in the first 2 weeks. He no longer needed the Red Bulls or several cups of coffee just to make it through the day. And get this, he tells me he's in line for a promotion now that he's at the top of his game. And if that wasn't enough, apparently his relationship with his fiancée has also improved. Something about being more fresh when he comes home from the office. And like those guys, I continued to help out anyone who'd ask for advice, like my sister who dropped 6 pounds in 7 days, or my brother-in-law who cut down on just one food he usually ate and went on to lose 16 pounds in only 3 weeks. The truth is, everyone who took my suggestions and ran with them dropped at least 15 pounds within the first month. And I'm not telling you this to brag, just to point out that here's an incredible opportunity available to you. Let me explain. This all started from a simple secret, but since everyone's body and life circumstances are different, I had to tweak it along the way. And after helping dozens of people hit their goal weight, I had a full-blown blueprint, one that anyone could follow to easily get and stay in the best shape of their lives, and without any of the pitfalls that come with traditional diets. No calorie counting, portion controls, or complicated point systems. No need to starve, eat tasteless health foods, spend endless hours in the gym, or turn your life upside down just to lose a few pounds. I knew what I was holding in my hands, and it was just too valuable to keep a lid on any longer. And while I'm not a professional writer, my friends and family insisted I make this information public. So that's what I did. I took every tip, trick, and tactic we used to get rid of our extra weight and put it in a book. I call it the cruise control diet, but to be honest, it's not really a diet. It's actually a set and forget system for effortless weight loss and supreme health. Here is just a small sample of what's inside. How to force your body to feed off its own fat stores. The weight will literally melt right off as you continue to enjoy delicious meal after meal. Plus, you'll never feel like you're dieting for a single day, while friends and family beg you to spill your secrets. The little known way to never fall off the wagon, ever. You can say goodbye to the guilt trips that come from cheating on your diet. Getting the body you've always wanted is just a matter of a few short months when you follow this simple plan. Why some people can eat whatever they want, whenever they want, and as much as they want, and never gain an ounce, and how you can do the same in just 30 days from this very moment. How to break through any weight loss plateau, no matter how stubborn. Almost everyone is dead wrong when it comes to this common problem, but you're going to love how simple and fun it is to jumpstart your fat loss. 5 foods that burn belly fat faster than anything else. These are the complete opposite of what you've been told, and why most dieters avoid them. Eat at least one per day, and you'll be amazed at how easy the weight comes off. A popular health beverage you should never drink, but probably do so every day. You've been wrongly told that it's good for you, but all it's good for is growing your waistline. Drop this from your daily diet, and watch the pounds and inches quickly follow suit. Why calorie and carb counting and even portion controls always fail in the long run? Sure, you'll lose a little weight for a while, but can you keep this up for life? Here's a dead simple way to make sure you never overeat, and it works every single time. No time to exercise? No problem. Try this trick to burn twice as many calories in a 60-minute run on the treadmill, and without breaking a sweat. How to set your metabolism on fire so you instantly burn off everything you eat, even junk food, and it has nothing to do with having several small meals per day or taking those dangerous fat burns. How to stop being hungry every few hours and kick your cravings to the curb. Now you never have to be a slave to food ever again. The insider tactic that puts your fat loss on steroids, the same one that just a handful of hardcore bodybuilders know and use to get six-pack abs in a few short weeks. And these guys are already freakishly lean. Just imagine what the same tactic will do for you. But that's not all. Because when you follow this simple plan, not only will you lose weight faster and easier than you ever thought possible, you'll also become healthier than you've been in years. Plus, you'll discover how to head off serious health problems before they even surface. For example, how to send your HDL or good cholesterol that keeps your arteries clean through the roof without taking a single pill. The drug companies would lose billions if everyone knew this secret. But it's all exposed on page 40. The most important cholesterol reading you're not getting. Think LDL is the real killer? Think again, because you might be making the biggest mistake of your life. The shocking truth about saturated fat. Which one's good for you and which you should avoid like the plague. Not knowing the difference can wreak havoc on your heart and your overall health. How to get the same anti-aging benefits Hollywood celebrities pay thousands for, and how to get them for free. And so much more, it would take at least another hour to outline it all. Alright, now let's go over everything you're getting with this package. First, there's the Cruise Control Diet Core program. This is the main manual that lays out exactly what to do so you can start losing weight as soon as today. That and all the juicy stuff you just learned about. Next, you're getting the Cruise Control Diet Cookbook. This has over 40 tasty and easy to prepare recipes. And not only are these a cinch to make, they'll also give you endless ideas to quickly come up with delicious recipes of your own. And you know what that means. You'll never get bored of eating the same foods over and over again. And if that isn't enough, you'll also get new recipes in your email every week for the next 60 days. Finally, I want to make sure you hit the ground running, so I'm throwing in a jumpstart guide. This takes you by the hand and walks you through your first week of grocery shopping. Now, I'm sure you're a busy person, so you'll be happy to know that you'll be in and out of the store within 30 minutes. And don't worry, you won't have to buy any of those expensive and hard-to-find health foods. Everything you need is right in your local store. All of the delicious whole foods that will shrink your stomach in no time. The best part? You can put this program to the test without risking a penny. And right now, if you so decide. Here's the deal. This is the easiest way to lose weight in existence. It's a foolproof plan that shows you step by step how to get in the best shape humanly possible. You just eat the right foods, delicious mouth-watering meals that nurture your body, and the fat literally melts right off. It really is that simple. And without strict rules to follow, this never gets in the way of your busy life, so you can stick with it for the long run. And you know what that means. Once those pounds come off, they're gone for good. The new you is here to stay. Just imagine looking back a month from this very moment having already lost 15 pounds, 20 pounds, or more, and then continuing to lose several pounds a week until you have the body you've always wanted. Picture it. How different is your life? How fantastic does it feel to see your slender figure in the mirror? What happens to your self-confidence every time you hear compliments from friends, family, or even complete strangers? And which new activities are you currently taking up thanks to the surge of energy that doesn't seem to run out? Now, let me ask you a question. What's this all worth to you? Because when I was struggling to shed off my unwanted weight, I shelled out thousands of dollars on diet programs and other useless contraptions that left me with nothing but bitter disappointment. And still, I would have gladly paid thousands more just to shortcut my way to a fit, healthy body. Heck, people do this daily by going under the knife. And while I can't promise you instant weight loss the way a surgeon's scalpel would, I can offer you the closest thing to it. And without any of the risks that come with surgery, such as nasty infections or even deadly reactions to the anesthesia. The best part? You won't have to spend thousands to get the body you've always wanted. You don't need to play Russian roulette with your life, because when you act now, you can secure your copy of this product for only $39.99. That's less than most gym memberships, less than an hour with a personal trainer. Just a fraction of what you pay for those programs that force you to purchase their expensive meals month after month, the same low-calorie junk that leaves you starving and feeling miserable. Come to think of it, when you spread it out over 8 weeks, more than enough time to experience your own total body transformation, that comes down to a paltry 71 cents a day. You can't even get a pack of gum for that price. And your health and happiness are worth a lot more than a little pocket change, wouldn't you agree? So, here's what to do now. Click on the button below this video. Then follow the simple instructions on the next page to grab your copy of this product. And once your transaction is complete, you'll get instant access so you can dive in right away. This is a digital item, so nothing will be sent in the mail, which means no postal delays or lost packages. You can start immediately. Get cozy on the couch and take a few hours to go through it. It's written in plain English and shows you exactly how to eat for fast fat loss. No guesswork required. Just follow the simple instructions, then sit back and let your body do the rest. And if you don't lose at least 30 pounds in the next 8 weeks, if you're not constantly praised by your loved ones who are watching you transform before their very eyes, and if you don't feel more energetic and alive than you've been in years, I insist you shoot me an email and request a full and fast refund. And it's yours. No questions asked. Alright, we're nearing the end of the presentation. So as you sit here watching this, you're left with a choice. Look, 30 days from now, you can be just a month older, still battling your size issues, still searching for solutions, and setting yourself up for more disappointment down the road, or you can be well on your way to having the body you've always wanted. Fit, healthy, confident, and full of zest. You decide. You've witnessed the power of this program and what an amazing difference it can make in your life. Not only that, but since you're protected by an 8-week full money-back guarantee, you have absolutely nothing to lose. Nothing except the weight, that is. So do yourself a favor. Click the Add to Cart button below. Say yes to this offer and make this the last day you ever struggle with your weight. You deserve it.